Hey guys, welcome back to another Xcode 4 tutorial, and in this case we're going to be going through an integration between the navigational controller embedded into a tab bar. So if you're unfamiliar with this, just take a look at the tutorial here, or the simulator that I've already set up. So basically we've got two tabs, similar to the tab bar template that they standard have. And within that we've got our first view, which I haven't done anything to, and then we've got a second view, which we've embedded the navigation controller. And as you can see, I've just placed two buttons on there, and then I've hooked those up to two view controllers that have different colored backgrounds. In the navigation controller, the beauty of it is no matter how many steps or view controllers that we have within our application, it connects it back, so it gives us that navigation from where we came to where we're going, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, blue, it takes us to a blue background view controller, and then it gives us the option to go back. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is embedding that navigation controller within the tab bar application. So we're going to launch into creating a new project, and in this case we're going to do the tabbed application template, and we're going to name this just tab bar nah. And now make sure your device family, it could be iPhone or iPad or universal. In this case we're just going to do universal, and that'll give us the option to develop for the iPhone. And then we're going to have all three of these selected. If you're not familiar with those, well, I've got some other tutorials explaining those, so go back and check out those. Now save your project anywhere you'd like, and the first thing that we're going to do is go into the main storyboard iPhone edition. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see what we're looking at. Center this on the screen. Now this is kind of the basic template that you start out with the tab bar application. Now in the previous tutorial I showed you how to add tab bars and how simple that is. In this one we're going to change it up a little bit, and as you can see, we've got a first and we've got a second, which we will still have with the embedded navigation controller, but we're just going to straight up click the second view controller and click delete. Now don't fear, we got everything under control. We'll put in the navigation controller and that'll be back. So the next thing that we're going to do is go up to the utilities drawer over to the right and open that up. Now at the bottom you'll see some objects, and this is where we're going to just take our navigation controller and drop it into the screen, and then we'll go about hooking it up and whatnot. So go ahead and click your navigation controller, drag it onto the screen, and then align it wherever you'd like. In this case, I'm just going to throw it up so it kind of aligns itself with the other one there. Now zoom in. Now as you noticed when we deleted the second view controller, our tab bar icon or item has disappeared from our tab bar controller. So we have to hook up our new view to this tab bar controller. So you can do that one of two ways. If you click down here, you'll see our tab bar controller. The other place you can find it is over to the left in this drawer, is our tab bar controller. You can do one of two ways. You can hold control, click from here, drag it to our new view, or you can do the same thing, control, click, and drag over to our new navigation controller. By doing this, we open up a few options for our storyboard segue, which we're going to launch into the relationship view controller in this case, and it's the same method or storyboard segue that the first view controller uses. So we're going to keep that consistent, moving from our tab bar controller to our navigational controllers here. So as you can see, by doing that, adding that segue, we have opened up our second item on there. Now if you want to change the name, you can't do it here. You click and it doesn't do anything. So we're going to do that right now by going over to the navigational controller, and if you click and then go up to your attributes over to the right, you'll see we can change the title. And so in this case we're just going to change it to color, and then we can also give it an image, and we're just going to give it the default second.png that's already in there. So now we've made it look a little nicer with a square box, and then also given a little bit of a title to give it an identity. The next thing that we're going to do is kind of go over this navigational controller. Now a navigational controller kind of works like a hierarchical tree system. So as we move away from this root view controller, and let's say add another view controller right here, we'll say, and we hook this up, As we hook this up, we need to get back to the root view controller. And so that's what the navigational controller does, is it gives us the ability to move to the next view controller, and then gives us the ability to come back very simply. And so that's what we're going to do, is drop 2 view controllers on the screen for the yellow and blue. And you know what, I'm going to add one more so you guys can see the relationship between navigational controllers here. So if we follow our tutorial, we're going to double click this view controller, and we're going to set this background equal to the yellow, and then do the same thing for the one below it to the bluish. And then you know what, we're going to do this third one. This wasn't in the simulator, but we're going to do this a red. So now we come back to the root view controller, and before we move on, I'm going to change the title here to color selector, just because it bothers me with root view controller. But remember, that's the root view controller. And we're going to go back over to the objects and find a round rectangular button. We're going to take that button and place it in the middle of the screen. You can make it whatever size you like, and then label this one yellowish, because I don't even know what that color is over to the right. And we're going to copy it, paste it on the screen, and rename this one to bluish. Now if you've seen anything from the previous tutorials, we're going to hook these buttons up to these view controllers via the segues. So if you hold control again, click and drag over to the view controller, it's going to give us the object, or the opportunity to select another segue. So in this case, for the navigational controller, the push is probably your best bet. It looks very clean and simplified when you push it over there. And we're going to do the same thing for the blue, and give it a push. And then we're also going to throw one more button on here just to show you the relationship here. Other color, and we're going to hook this up to the red. Now this doesn't have any rhyme or reason why we're doing this. We're just doing it to prove a concept so you guys can see how it works, and hopefully implement it within your projects. Alright, so let's zoom out, get the big picture of what we've done. So basically we've got a tab bar controller which holds our two, let me zoom in a little bit, which holds our 2 views. The first view just goes to a standalone view controller. The second one, the color, goes to a navigational controller. Now the navigational controller starts off with our view controller here that holds the 2 buttons on screen that take us to the yellow and to the blue. Then as we're on the yellow, if we click the other color, it takes us to the red, as you can see with the segue connections here. Now let's go ahead and run it, and hopefully that helps you with the embedding of the navigational controller within the tab bars. And we're not going to run it in the iPad, so I'm going to drop out of that. We're going to change this from iPad up to down to iPhone 5 simulator, and so we're going to run that. Sorry. And there we go. There we go. Alright, so first view, again, nothing too special about that. It's just the default. When you go over to the color, we're going to start with the blue. As you can see, it takes us to the blue view controller that we set up, and then it gives us the option to go back. And the back option we never set up. Like, we basically, it just comes standard with the navigational controller as long as you segue them correctly. So we're going to go back to the blue and go to the yellow, and as you can see, it takes us to the yellow view controller with the back option to the color selector. And also it gives us the opportunity to click this button, which takes us to the red. Now as you can see, we've got a back button that takes us back to the yellow, and then another back button that takes us back to the color selector part of that. So hopefully that's quick and easy for you guys to do, and you know, let us know. I know one guy was talking about, hey, how can I have a button go to a view controller where I can embed Yahoo, and then another button where I can embed Google. This would be for you, buddy. So hopefully that helps. We'll talk to you later.